So I am currently a corporate counsel and senior advisor for legal technology at a company called Armedia. We serve primarily the federal family and state and local partners as well in the technology space, including content management, investigations, litigation, FOIA, and privacy requests. So I provide the legal support, and I also provide our thought, leadership, or expertise in our relationship with our key government colleagues who are out there. I really loved my time at University of Toledo. It was exciting. I loved the classes. My undergrad was in political science, and I went to law school. Something I really enjoyed was the experiences that I had through internships on undergrad and law school. I split my time primarily between Toledo and Washington, D.C. It was something that I originally got involved with a group called the Washington Center that has a relationship with the university. Did my first internship on the Hill and just kept coming back. DC Attorney General, the United States Environmental Protection Agency, and really enjoyed the experience. But I always say I'm born and raised in Toledo and have a very special spot in my heart for the university, lawyers, judges, leaders, and mentors in the Toledo area who really helped me through my journey. So the story goes, when I was a young kid, I woke my parents up in the middle of the night and asked them how light bulbs were made. And so instead of getting upset, for my birthday, they got me the book, How Things Are Made. And I've always had that intellectual curiosity, love watching that show. And I also had a real passion for the law. And so, which was a nice thing, because I think the law teaches us to question, challenge evidence, and make sure what is being, whether it's regulation, oversight, some type of investigation. So to kind of thank them for supporting me throughout my educational experience, and as that early night about asking how things are made. When I was at the White House, I gave them their tour, and I gave them the book back, but I had the director of the White House Office, Science and Technology Policy, sign it for them and put a nice message in there. So it is one of those things where I really enjoy what I do, combining law and technology together, and it's been a really exciting journey. It really is an honor. I mean, there's just a lot of talented individuals. We're alumni of our university. We have a wonderful board. We have a wonderful president. The deans that I interact with regularly, and the students. And so for me, I think to whom much is given, much is expected. I get excited when students, whether they're law students or undergrad, young attorneys, reach out to me. Because I think in our community, for the legal world, we call it the Toledo Legal Way, where attorneys and judges reach out. They're interested in pro bono, very collegial relationships, and take a keen interest in the next generation. So I'm really honored and thankful, and the least I can do is just help out for our next generation, because the college is the Jesup Scott, and he founded the university, and it really is kind of neat that type of trailblazer, we still have that, and the university does a ton of research in science and technology. We have a lot of faculty who have really high credentials. So I'm really, really blessed to have this recognition, but I really want to keep paving the way for our next generation of leaders. I would say it would be getting an opportunity to serve as an attorney at the White House. How that happened was I never was on campaigns or just had any vision of it. So I was detailed from the United States Environmental Protection Agency, and a fellow colleague who worked at the Justice Department had connected me with my predecessor at the office I was at. And I received an email saying, hey, would you like to come to the White House? And at first I thought it was a cyber phishing email, but then it was actually real. And it was a very wonderful interview process with an attorney, and then with the general counsel, and then with the chief of staff, and then got the offer from the director of OSTP. The only caveat was you have a detailed FBI background investigation. But it really was one of those times where I was with very smart people, quantum physicists. If you ever watched the movie Big Bang Theory, just as smart as that. A gentleman named Dick Garwin, who'd worked on the Manhattan Project, environmental experts, just national security from the intelligence community, individuals who every day I'd be like, I really need to step up my resume. But it was really collegial in the office because they respected my legal judgment. And I really enjoyed it. The Hatch Act prevents politics in the workplace, and there was a lot of individuals who were detailed from civilian as well as from military and the intelligence community. So I was truly excited to go to work and have those experiences. And the nice little bow tie on it was taking your kids to the White House complex and having them run the halls and kind of see it and go through, the Secret Service and everything. And I think Easter egg rolls and tours and the President's box at the Kennedy Center. Those are all the nice little things on top. But really, I think experiencing that with my family and having those photos, I really, really cherish those memories. So I was in law school, and I was going to do an internship with the U.S. Attorney's Office, but since I'd worked on a previous matter, because of legal conflicts, I was unable to take that internship, which was fine. But then I had the opportunity to work with a federal judge, Judge Vernellis Armstrong. And I told the Assistant United States Attorney, who I was going to be working for, that what had kind of happened. And he had said, she's one of the nicest individuals you'll work for. And that's true to this day. I've worked with a lot of great people, and I remember meeting her. If you can imagine, the FBI, DEA, ATF have arrested an individual, and your life is turned around. You're arraigned or have an initial appearance in front of her, and she's respectful. Not only the Constitution requires it, but just because she's a wonderful individual. And she was a type of community leader. When she would walk into a room at an event, the whole room would want to talk to her, but she wants to talk to you about yourself. And it's definitely one. I love having a relationship with her, keeping in touch. I'll do continuing legal education programs for the Toledo Bar Association, and she'll attend. And that's really neat. And I think that is something, I don't care if I'm in Toledo or in DC, the real successful people are those individuals who you can reach out to. They get back to you, they provide good advice, and they're respected by everybody, regardless of professional background or journey you've taken. And so that is a memory that has really reminded me to do the right thing. And so that's something I really love that I had in my educational experience. So I would have to say Judge Carr. Judge Carr originally came to the law school as a professor. Then he got tapped to be a magistrate judge, and now he is a district judge. So he was nominated by the president, confirmed by the Senate. And he taught as an adjunct when I was at the law school. And it really was one of those classes I liked because he would have fellow attorneys and judges come in. And I think that was neat to hear the amount of stuff that he worked on, and just to have that really, because he has a very, I think, impressive academic background, but to really put a lot of thought about opinions, about sentencing. And a neat memory, I would have to say, is when he testified in front of the Senate. He originally had served on FISA, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, and he had a proposal about potentially having an advocate for the people in the FISA courts, and he wrote an article, I believe, in the New York Times, and he testified in the Senate. I think it was really neat to go and experience that hearing as well. And so that was something, just a neat overall memory of my educational experience. Be curious and reach out to individuals. I tell students when I talk with them, reach out on LinkedIn or networking and set up coffees or lunch. In person is always better because it's stickier. But it's definitely one of those things that I've noticed. We've all kind of been there starting our career. And I would say it's amazing individuals reply. I mean, yes, there's some too busy, but the real successful folks that I've noticed, they make time. And I do this quite often where I, meet with students, or I set them up with other individuals who I think they'd find interesting. And so I would say always be curious, and don't let the challenge of I would say grades or competition in the marketplace kind of stifle your creativity. Keep going and trying and pushing. Because it's one of those things I always think, we only have one life to live, and let's do the best we can. The worst case, we reach out to somebody to say no. The other thing is it starts a conversation, and that way you can kind of keep in touch with them. And, somebody says, I just had this young man reach out to me. He was interested in a position in DC. Do you know anybody? Indeed, I do. And I think it's one of those things. I think students with the rankings of now high schools and colleges and law schools and jobs, there's a lot out there. For me, something I loved was really the mentors in my life who have shared the tools and trades of their success. They'll pass that on to our next generation, and I happily do that. So individuals can have fulfillment, because professionally sometimes it can be a challenge out there when you are out there, regardless of beginning, middle, or toward the end of your career. There's a lot of things that kind of occur. I would just like to be remembered as an individual who did the right thing, loved interacting with individuals, our administration, our professors, our students at the university level, but individual who really loved to give back and think through critical problems and, be involved with pro bono, as well as my passion right now I work a lot on is artificial intelligence. And I think the joy I love about this is I've been to a number of Senate hearings, truly bipartisan. We want to get this right. We want to be mindful of privacy and protection of data. And I love being front and center in DC, in the backyard of the tech policy explosion. And that's something I think those areas I really want to pass on to the next generation, because this is an exciting time.